Australia's outback is literally baking in the intense heat of the summer sun. As I drive westward in search of huge animals that materialise from the scrub like dreamtime spirits. Bushmen claim they are the toughest creatures on earth and call them the desert ghosts. Red kangaroos race my truck, hitting speeds over 50 kilometres an hour. Their endurance in the heat is amazing. The drought has cast its evil spell. Feral goats compound the problems by competing for available food with the native animals. Even the emus are finding it hard to survive. This is the land of the Never Never, a place of dreamtime stories. Only the hardiest of creatures can survive in this extremely harsh environment. Oh, look at this. Come on. Come on. Look at you. I'll have you. Come here, come here. And here we have your husband. Oh, look. Look at this. Hello. Hello. This is your wife. Now look what happens with this animal. Look at this defense. See what it's doing? I just turn him around. Look. Look at that. Showing the pink mouth and poking out that beautiful blue tongue. Look at that. That's a defense. Don't bite me. Come on, I want to pick you up now. I know what's going to happen. You're going to get my finger in your mouth. Thank you. Have a look at that. Taliqua rugosa. These are the amazing shinglebacks. And these wonderful lizards are so well evolved and adapted to this arid, dry, hot interior of Australia. These are omnivorous, which means they not only eat plant matter like flowers, but they also eat animals too. And they will feed upon or prey upon other reptiles, even a little ground nesting bird or mouse, and of course they love insects as well. The interesting thing about these shinglebacks is that once they mate, once they pair up, they stay together for life. And that may mean that they're married couple for anything up to 40 or 50 years if you like. And they produce live young. They normally only have 1 or 2, sometimes 3. And they probably mate every 3 or 4 years. But he thinks that she is beautiful. Not so beautiful to me, but you really like him, don't you? You think he's pretty good. You can see he's a male by the wide, broad head, slightly bigger than the female. Look at them. Lovers in the desert. All right, I'll put you down and leave you alone. Off you go, you two. Off you go. Sorry to disturb you now. In this arid country in Central Australia, it's not like a rainforest where you have animal encounter hour after hour. You might find 10, 15 creatures in one day. In this wilderness, we can go all day and be lucky to find one animal to show you. And the reason is because they are just so hard to see. In this tree is something very special. Come and have a look. Oh, aren't you beautiful? Aren't you beautiful? Now this wonderful lizard here is called a Bacona viticeps. which is actually a bearded dragon. Now, I'm not going to hurt you, darling. This is a female, and don't bite me. They can really, really, really hurt, because these claws are very, very sharp, and they have plenty of very, very sharp teeth inside that wide, strong head. Now you can see this incredible animal. This is a female, and I can tell that by the size of the head. It's not that wide. Wonderful creature, the bearded dragon. And what she was doing was lying up here, and she is almost perfectly matched the colour of this tree. You can see she's quite white. Very interesting. In fact, I'm going to put you back because I can see something I totally missed, and that's your husband over here. Hello. Don't hurt me. Hello. Now this is the male, and you can see he's black, perfectly matching the other branch, and I totally missed seeing you, didn't I? Now look at this wonderful, wonderful fella. This is a mating pair, which is amazing in this funny old tree here. These creatures are not only terrestrial, meaning that they live on the ground, they are also arboreal. So they will climb up, not real high, not up in the canopy, but they will climb up logs and dead trees like this one. These creatures are also animals that will feed on vegetation and also prey upon other creatures. Reptiles, small snakes, frogs, they won't mind those, birds, and of course insects. And look at this wonderful beard. And what they can do is expand that right out to frighten away predators. Look at all the spikes on this wonderful animal. They're covered in spikes, sharp claws, very keen eyesight, and powerful jaws, and very, very prehistoric looking, aren't you? And we'll put you back with your wife. There we are, back on the tree. Aren't they gorgeous? Some of the larger rivers here have their origins in the tropical north and still flow in these times of drought. Max, an Aboriginal elder, has joined me to do some traditional hunting. What is it, Max?
Turtle.
Where is he? Oh, it's Mum. What have you got? Oh, Max. Good spotting. Good spotting, a Macquarie turtle. Oh, don't let him bite you. Are they good eating, mate?
Yeah.
How would you cook him?
Turn them on the back and
Turn them on their back?
and put them in the ashes and
Put it straight in the ashes.
then cover them over. And,
Do you like them?
yeah.
Now look at these wonderful Macquarie turtles, and of course they were very much bush tucker, and they could cook them in the shell because they have their own pot. Plenty of protein there. These are omnivorous creatures, and of course they're a reptile. So that's why early in the morning you can find them up under logs and up on the bank here warming up in the sun. When they get too hot, back into the water they go. And they'll feed on all sorts of things, from plant matter to fish, frogs, and of course yabbies. And this is quite a big one, isn't he? They're quite heavy. Look at this gorgeous creature. Look at him. And you can see the feet are well adapted for this environment. Firstly, of course, they're webbed. Look at these gorgeous little feet. And being webbed, they're very, very clever swimmers. But also, to allow them to climb up onto logs and up on the bank, you can see these sharp claws. So they're very, very clever, these guys. Look at that. And the legs are short, but they're well muscled and very strong. Very strong. Look at the size of the muscles in these legs. And that sharp little beak, which I do not want him to bite me. Look at that. He'd love to take a piece out of my finger. Wouldn't you, mate? Eh? Yeah. Hello. Hello. We're not going to eat you. So don't be terrified of Max. He's not going to eat you today. No, we're going to feed the yabbies instead of this bloke, eh? Okay. Off you go, buddy. Off you go. Oh, mate. Here, put him in the hat. Put him in my hat. There's so many here. Ow! God, they bite. God, there's hundreds in here. Look at the size of these freshwater crayfish or yabbies. Oh, any more? Yep, yep. Come on. These are such good eating, and they're very much bush tucker for the Aboriginals. They're not hard to find. A lot of these little muddy holes are just full of them. It's a good idea to soak them in good clean fresh water for a couple of days. They won't die, and it gets rid of that muddy taste. But look at, you can pick him up. Look at the size of that one. Let go, let go. Look at the nippers on him. Oh wow. All right. Don't let him bite you though. That's enough, eh?
Yeah.
Now help, look, I am now well and truly stuck in the mud. You can help me out of the mud now with my yabbies. You ready? Okay. All right. Back to the canoe, Max. Back to the canoe. The river gums are home to hundreds of corellas. Sometimes these noisy birds have accidents. What's the matter, mate? Oh, no. If I don't catch you, we're going to lose you, aren't we? Come here. Ow. Come here. Come here. Come out of the water. I gotcha. Look at him. This poor little bloke. You can see the wings all snapped there. And there's no way he'll survive out here. So I'm going to amputate that wing. We're hundreds of kilometres from a vet, so we'll see if we can take this wing off where it's busted and save this little bloke. And I might be able to give him to Featherdale Wildlife Park to look after. Now, I don't want him to bite me. Look what he's doing to my hat. I have to improvise a bit in the bush and use my shoelace as a tourniquet. I've got a towel and try and get the wing off this poor bloke. Now that's his good wing. Come here. And this is his bad one. Look at that. You can see it's totally snapped. The poor bloke. So I'm going to take that off, mate. Can't get you to a vet, we're too far away. Yeah, I bet it's sore, eh? We'll see if we can just calm you down a bit. Okay. No, settle down. Settle down. Yeah. Oh, you bugger. He sliced me open. Oh, that hurt. Yeah. Right through my fingernail. Whoa. Anyway, I'll try and catch him again. And we're going to save him, even if it costs me 2 fingers. I'm after you now, mate. Come here. All right. Now we try again. Oh, that lethal beak of yours. Just take this off. There. There's a poor bloke's broken wing. Well, it looks like our little corella's going to survive. He's made 4 holes in my hat, chomped straight through my fingernail, but he's now missing that broken wing. So he can stay in the truck with us for a while. When we go home to Sydney, I'll give him to Featherdale Wildlife Park. You're going to be alright, but look what you did to my finger, mate. Straight through the fingernail. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Come on, you come in the truck with me. Let's go. Come on. Off we go to the truck. No more biting, okay? Let's go. Max and I leave the river in search of the right timber to make some traditional Aboriginal spears. Okay, we'll take that one out to the car, Max. We'll come back and make another one. What we're doing is we're cutting some spears. We're going to make some traditional Aboriginal spears out of this mulga hardwood and do a bit of fishing together, which should be great fun. But they need to be fairly straight, and I can see another one over here. So hard. There we are, Max. So please put that in the back of the truck. They can kick. These big adults are coming in a bit close because the small ones, little babies, are out here with the females. So we're giving them plenty of room and staying close to the tree. If he starts kicking, I bet I get up the tree quicker than you do. You know, another thing I've got to tell you, not only can they kick, but they can also bite. So we'll just stand here nice and gentle. Oh, don't eat my hat, please. That's a dry as a bone hat. It's not going to be dry with your slobber on it. See the little tiny baby ones up there? Look at that. How these animals live in this country is beyond me because it is so dry. But being so tall, almost like a giraffe, of course they can feed on the foliage of all sorts of different trees. Very, very clever animals. And this one's eating my hat. Now I know why you've got grey hair. The camels have been frightening you, haven't they? Yeah. Old bushmen call wild camels desert ghosts. Their hides camouflage their presence in the bush, and leathery padded feet make for soundless walking. How's that? Surrounded by camels in the mulga. Wow. Well, I don't suggest anyone for a minute walk with wild camels because they are unpredictable. But look how they just disappear into the mulga and they're gone. Magic stuff. We were totally unprepared for the camel encounter. Hopefully we will see more wild camels in the weeks to come. But now it's time to go hunting. You know, it's such a privilege to be sitting on this old riverbank with Max, making spears out of mulga trees. When you think of the history of the Aboriginal people here, they lived in this remote part of Australia for 40, maybe 50,000 years. And so long ago, relatives of this man were probably spearing fish with the same style spears that we're making now. We're trying to get carp, which are introduced pests in the Australian outback rivers. I'm here with my friend Max. Come on Max, we've got to be good. We've got to get one. I've hunted carp before, but with a bow and arrow. Bowfishing takes both accuracy and patience to arrow the timid carp.
Hey, look at you.
I'm getting out of the mud. Oh, there we are, Max. Well, there we are. That's one of these dreaded European carp. And they've infested so many of our creeks and rivers of outback Australia. And they're a big problem, these feral fish, because the way they feed in the mud, stir the mud up. And a lot of our native fish are dying off because of these European carp. And they're not real good eating, are they? Have you ever eaten one?
No,
No. What do you like to eat?
yellow belly.
Yellow belly. Me too. Well, we'll get this one out of this pool and see if we can find some more. Let's keep looking, mate. Oh, the mud. A billy full of freshwater crayfish is a great way to end the day. But the chance encounter with the wild camels did not impress Max. Aboriginals have no affinity with the introduced camels. Future close encounters with the huge beasts will have to be without my old friend. Comaroo Station stretches as far as the eye can see. Hopefully here we will be able to encounter the wild camels that roam free on this massive chunk of Australia. Bruce Sharp, the owner of Comaroo Station, has his own museum, filled with some cruel reminders of the past. Now, how they set these incredibly dangerous traps was they would put their feet on each side of these springs, push them down, force the jaws apart, and then this plate with a little trigger here would sit there. They'd cover the whole trap with leaf litter and loose dirt. When the animal came along, and often they'd put bait on top, when he pushed on that pressure plate, these jaws would snap shut. Often they would break the leg of the poor animal. They couldn't drag the trap away because there'd be a chain going to a spike that was driven into the ground. It was a shocking way for a creature to die. Here's a dingo we caught this morning in a trap. Look at it, poor thing. It's quite dead. Ralph, get up. Get up, Ralph, get up. You're not dead, are you, mate? Are you not dead? Come on, get up, get up. Come on, get up. Look at him, big solid boy. To gain valuable advice about the wild camels of Comaroo, I spend some time with Bruce Sharp and some of his tame camels. Is it dangerous to walk on the feral camels?
Oh, it'd really be dangerous because the bull camel, if he's on season between March and October, he could be very dangerous because he'd bite you or kick you or stomp on you. You wouldn't know what he might do.
Really?
I've heard of people being camped out, and one girl I knew, next door she lives, and she was camped out in the desert with camels on her own. She was shooting the bull camels.
Really? Here at Comaroo Station, they bring in wild camels from the scrub, and some of them they break in. Mm-hmm. And this is Frank. He's not broken in fully yet. He's never been ridden. And the way you break a camel in is to bond with them. You can feed them, rub them down with a brush, spend time with them, and of course teach them to sit down. After a while, if they like you and trust you, you've got yourself a tame camel. It's interesting, this young bloke, he's about 6 now, and he's starting to secrete from glands at the back of the head, which is a little bit like elephants when they go into musk. You've got to be a bit careful of bulls because when they go on heat they can get territorial and aggressive. It's important to understand that a bull camel can easily kill a man, so you've got to be a bit careful with them. We're starting to get to know each other. What I'm going to do now is try and get him to stand up, and then I'll see if I can get him to sit back down again. Okay, come on Frank, up, up, come on Frank, up. Come on, don't be stubborn. Frank, come on, up. Come on, Frank, up. Up you get, come on. We're going for a walk. Get up. Come on, Frank, up, up, up. Frank, up you get. Up you get, come on, up, up. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Push down, push down, push down. Good boy. Push down, push down. Down you go. Good boy. Good boy. We're going to spend a bit of time with this guy, and Frank and I are going to go for a walk in the wilderness together. Aren't we, mate? Training camels is totally different to training horses. Only 2 weeks ago, I broke wild horses at the Glen Keary Ranch near Sydney. I was taught the art of horse whispering by Alan Watts, the famous endurance rider. The method is painless for the horse. No cruel whips, only a soft rope is used as I chase the wild animal in a round yard. Forcing the horse to change direction requires me to jump in front of the beast. This can be extremely dangerous, as one lethal clubbing hoof could be fatal. Eventually, the horse submits, its spirit intact. The animal shows recognition of my dominance by repeated bowing of the head. Horse whispering or quiet talking follows. Then I reassure the horse I mean no harm by rubbing the animal's neck and shoulders. Stallions require longer to break in than mares, and no time can I show any signs of fear. A wild stallion will sense fear quickly and can become extremely aggressive. Breaking in wild horses requires being in total control and a thorough understanding of their body language. My way. Beautiful. Beautiful. Come on. Let's go, let's go. Hey! Ah! Come on. Let's go. One more. Eventually, the powerful stallion signals his respect, coming towards me, an exaggerated bowing of the head. My gentleness is rewarded with affectionate muzzling to my cheek. After hours walking together, Frank seems to listen to my every word. You know, I don't think you really realise your royal heritage. Did you know your forefathers would have seen the building of the Great Pyramids? You know that? They might have even known Cleopatra. They were worshipped by the ancient gods of Egypt. And you know something? You know something, Frank? Your great-grandfather, he might have even been ridden by Lawrence of Arabia. You know that? Lawrence of Arabia. Do you realise how special you are? It's time to search for the wild herd of camels that roams Comaroo. Our best chance is the bore drain. Here, artesian water flows along man-made channels, attracting all manner of animals to drink. You know, when I was a little kid, there was something I loved doing, and that was chasing frogs. That's what I'm going to do now. Wash you nice and clean. Ah, look at you. Come here. Come here. I had you nice and clean. There we are. Whoop! You slippery little devil. Oh, come on, I want to show you to my friends. Look at this gorgeous creature. This is, of course, the green tree frog. And they live in these bore drains and get up into the shrub. They basically eat anything that they can shove into their mouth. They're wonderful predators. They're just gorgeous. But of course they're preyed upon by birds and snakes especially. So that lovely green colour is a great camouflage in this environment of the bore drain. Look at him. And this one, it's a female. She will have hundreds and hundreds of eggs. And these frogs are a great gauge for the quality of our water, because if we have insecticides in our water or pollution, then frogs die. And sadly, many of the waterways of Australia are almost void of frogs because of insecticides. But not up here at Comaroo Station. We'll put you back. Off you go. Not far from the bore drain, the wild herd is feeding. Australia is the only place on earth where wild dromedary single-humped camels live free in the wilderness. As I walk with the camels, my presence does not go unnoticed. So as not to be seen as a threat, I pretend to feed on a scrub bush. Camels were brought to Australia from the Middle East in the mid-1800s to aid the early explorers and haul produce for settlers of the interior. After the invention of motor vehicles, camels became redundant and many were set free. Being perfectly adapted to the arid conditions, they multiplied. Current estimates are over 600,000. Grazing and browsing is now threatening local extinction of native plants. After 13 months gestation, many of the cows are heavy with milk. Young calves suckle from their highly protective mothers. However, walking near the babies is risky. All large herbivores with young are unpredictable. Camels can go long periods without water or food, relying on the fatty material within the hump. Their senses of smell and hearing are exceptional. I follow the herd to a muddy water hole. Some bulls are honing their fighting skills. Two older camels warn me to stay away by stomping the ground. Others roll in the dust to eradicate their coats of annoying insects. A huge bull vocalises his displeasure at my closeness. Another even larger beast gets up and stamps a warning in the dust. I'm learning the body language and remember the warning words by Bruce Sharp.
He'd bite you, or kick you, or stomp on you, you wouldn't know what he might do.
I'm only metres from one of the toughest creatures on earth. An ancient species that once carried the wise men to Christ. A 700-kilogram beast that can survive over 50 years in the harshest country on earth. I'm in the presence of the desert ghost. His keen hearing alerts him to the sound of distant thunder. He knows the danger of lightning and strides for the safety of the scrublands. You can see there's a big storm building up, lightning and thunder. And once it dumps the rain, these pans will just flood and we'll get bogged and we'll have to walk back to Comaroo. It's going to be bad. It's time to get out of here. For 2 days we've been walking around in absolute arid conditions, no moisture. The ground was so hot and dry. And now it is just an incredible storm. And it's bucketing down. Lightning is just flashing in the sky and thunder going off. It's nuts out here now. And the whole environment will change. Someone's angry up there. After years of drought, Comaroo Station resembles a flooded marshland. Much of the open pans are now impossible to drive over. With little chance of finding the camels, I go searching for other wildlife. Out you come, little fella. Come on, out you come. I'm not going to hurt you. Oh, I am so covered in mud. If you like lizards, this one would be one of the cutest I've ever seen. This is an Irian earless dragon, and they're quite common in Central Australia. Beautiful little fellas. And like all dragons, these animals excavate out to bury their eggs in the soil. They're very fast across the ground, so they escape predation by speed, scurry along the ground very quickly, or race up a tree, or in this case, down a burrow. Dragons this size would mostly feed on insects, but also they love to feed on some flowers. And after that big storm last night, there's going to be plenty of flowers for this little dragon to feed on in a couple of days. Look how gorgeous he is. Now I'll show you something special about him. If I put him on his log, hold him gently. Now, isn't that incredible camouflage? Look at that. If you're a bird flying overhead, you just simply would not see him. The only reason I saw him was I saw the tail against the red soil. And there he is. They use speed and camouflage to escape predation. better than that. Come on, get out of this mud. Look what we've got here. Two beautiful, beautiful snakes. Look at them. Don't bite me, you guys. Don't bite me. I know you'd like to. Look what we've got here. Oh, these bush flies are annoying me. These are Corella spilota, which are the Murray darling pythons. These are such ancient species of snake because they have not evolved the venom glands to kill their prey. They rely on a much older method of taking down animals. What they do is they strike very quickly and they grab hold of their prey with very, very sharp teeth that all face backwards. The jaws are well muscled. Throw a coil around and then restrict the breathing. The animal tries to take a breath like I'm doing and it can't. Then they restrict and constrict even more with these very, very powerful muscles in their body. Eventually the prey can't breathe, becomes hypoxic and dies. And then they separate these jaws. You're gonna bite me in a minute. They separate these jaws and they can swallow animals far bigger than themselves. When these guys are fully grown, they can even eat a wallaby or a feral pig. Look at these wonderful animals. They're probably heading up into those trees where maybe possums, feral cats or whatever. Look at that. Aren't they gorgeous? I'm going to let them go now after that dramatic catch. But one thing I must warn you, wild snakes, pythons, can give an infectious bite. So you've got to be a bit careful of them. You two can go back to the water. Off you go. I think they might be lovers. They just might be lovers. Let's see what they do. Look at them. Off you go. I'm covered in mud. It's about 44 degrees. It's super hot. But that was one of the most wonderful animal encounters of my whole life.